All right, let's go to conference tourney talk. I'm gonna kick it off with we got the Horizon, the Sun Belt, and the Patriot. I have some really hot, not hot takes, but well baked takes on the Horizon and Sun Belt. Patriot, I think we're just gonna tell you to, I guess, bet Navy or bet Colgate, and see what happens. Maybe a little more nuance to that, but let's go deep on the Horizon here, fellas. It's the same format as last year. Now we have 11 teams in this league. Every game to start is on the campus sites. The highest seed will host. You win that, you move on to Indy, and that's where kind of the neutral site uh, carries for the quarters, semis, and title. For the exception of Cleveland State IU Indy, as we teased on the onset, starts tomorrow. They got to win one extra game. The winner there will play Wright State, who is the one seed, not the prevailing favorite, but right in neck and neck with Robert Morris and Oakland's a few percent below them, and then it kind of gets into more of the dark horse mush of the league. Off the cut, any take on Cleveland State IU Indy tomorrow? I'm looking at the total, as we would instinctively believe it's going to be super, super high scoring, but nothing out yet officially here. Maybe we get an early opener that pops while we're
It's
talking through it.
two
You
minus
see
two
two?
Cleveland State.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh,
Not
man,
the big game.
I lean towards IUND. Beat them once this year, and they have the capability to score a lot of points. Not play defense, but the capability to score a lot of points and to make a lot of threes. Chaos in a tournament setting. So I will be picking IUND in the GOAT conference tournament pool. Shout out
There you go.
Stucky.
I've
Uh,
had I have IU Indy in a season long pool because they were super cheap, and I was hoping to get a few cheap Horizon wins. And down the stretch, they kept playing well early, and then like fading second half. Same thing happened against Fort Wayne in the finale. They're up six at halftime. They lose by six for the game. I worry that like their lack of athleticism and kind of lack of depth playing that style, like it's not as deep as you'd want. You want to be able to go like 10 guys deep when they're playing as fast as they do, trying to press. And they're not pressing quite as much in league play, but yeah, I want to take them. I want to like draw the line with Ben Hollett here in IU, but I'm gonna stay away from that one, Matthew.
any other first round matchups that jump out at you guys, or just general dark horse picks to win the conference tournament? Let me just run through the odds here real quick. So Wright State is plus 230, Robert Morris plus 240. I think those are terrible bets, honestly.
Yes,
Um,
agreed.
I mean, I think they're good. Just like, I will say what differentiates those teams. Those are like the two most physical teams in the league. For a league that's more skill based, I'd argue, and not always super athletic. Oakland plus 500. I think that's going to be my pick, but I don't love the value. I think Michael Ho got hurt over the weekend. They're not very deep. I need to check on that. And then Detroit Mercy came out of nowhere. So Detroit, Green Bay, the Fighting Doug Gottliebs are both plus 850, plus 900. NKU, Darren Horn is 9-5 against the spread in this format. They've been kind of a March magic carpet rider. They're at 1,200. Youngstown State, 1,900. Purdue Fort Wayne, 3,500. And the Milwaukee team I thought could win this damn thing is 70-1, Kai. Now, I don't know how they're not all the way healthy. They got Faison Fields back, one of their key bigs, but maybe they're just not that good. But if you're going to throw a dart, I think
Yeah.
that's the dart you throw is Milwaukee. I don't
Yeah,
know,
it's
though.
it's good dart. NK is good dart. You know what I'm taking though? At 10-1 on DraftKings, I'm taking Green Bay. And here's why.
Oh, I love this. What's the
Because
Emotional
emotional
hedge.
it's an
reputation
emotional
on that?
hedge. Because if
Yeah.
Gottlieb makes the tournament, I'm going to drive myself crazy. So I might as well make some money. And Green Bay can win it. One of the best offenses
Wow,
in
how
the
about
league.
that? No, they did
They've
execute well.
they've beaten just about everybody. I think. I don't think they beat Wright State, but yeah, I'm taking Green Bay for the emotional hedge, sitting there
I
in the
think
five seed.
it's I Kaya joked about that in our Discord today with that very thing. Of
Yeah,
like I just can't stand the like amount of media propping up of Gottlieb that will happen after that without at least having a paycheck go into my pocket. So there's going to be some amount of money thrown there. And if it ends up being a donation, I'm okay with that. I'm frustrated that Northern Kentucky plays Oakland, Matthew, because I was targeting Northern Kentucky at least for a quarterfinal bet. But I respect Campy. I respect them in this format. That injury you mentioned to Hogue is worth monitoring
I'm
because
not sure about that.
if
I know he did play way. I saw his minutes were way down. That's odd.
yeah,
He's
I
still
mean like
on.
they got Garrett back, but it's Robinson, Garrett, never Tubu, I believe, as they call him.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a five-man team. Like it's really not. There's not much to it. They have a six-man team, so you got to keep an eye on their rotation. if he's out, maybe Northern Kentucky's worth a stab because, like you said, they just make moves in this event and it's usually wide open. Like you often get a team from like the bottom half of the like 5 through 8 that can make the finals. So yeah, agreed. The top two teams, like I wouldn't even remotely consider betting them to win 3 games, even if one of them's at home at plus 230 or whatever. So lean to maybe a Northern Kentucky bet, especially if Hogue or Huge. I don't know exactly how his
It's
name is
Hogue.
pronounced.
I don't
Okay.
know though.
Yeah, they lean there, but this is not one that I'm going to be sprinkling other than the Green Bay Phoenix emotional hedge.
Yes. Worth noting that they reseed this tournament after the first
Yes,
round.
correct.
So you can't exactly look at the draw right now
Right.
and be
Yeah,
confident.
that's good for the high seeds. You're guaranteed to
Yeah.
not like have to play a tougher
Correct.
matchup. Yeah.
Yeah, I funny. I looked at. I know I said Robert Morris is a terrible bet. I do. They have won 7 in a row, and they beat Wright State twice in that run. Oakland, um, as well. Again, as I said, they're the number one rebounding team offensively and defensively in the conference. Wright State's number two in both categories. I think that's not a fluke. Why those two teams are where they are. Physicality, rebounding, winning the possession war is going to translate. Who knows who's going to get hot? And then this is a conference where there's a ton of everyone plays zone in this league, right? So you got to be able to execute against man and zone. I was looking at some of the zone offensive splits. There wasn't anything crazy that jumped out, but that's why this conference tournament is always really crazy. Just there's a lot of like in-game volatility and swing. So probably a fun live betting conference, just anecdotally. Any
The
official picks here?
stupid part of my
Good.
brain wants to take a little Milwaukee. I think we
Yeah, I'm
did
gonna
this
do a little
last
bit.
year and it like didn't go that well. I don't know. Jovanovic injury like midway through the year, I think is really what crippled them. He was kind of a key piece for them, front court creator a little bit. They could play through him some, but Hubbard's missed most of the season, and Aguilar is just kind of maddening. But last year, thought they were a good bet, lose to Oakland right away. At that price for a team that preseason I thought had the talent to win it, like I think I've got to sprinkle a little bit, Matthew.
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm always a sucker for Greg Campy. I just don't think that's a good price. I don't. I think that I respect teams like Youngstown. I don't think it's terrible. Purdue Fort Wayne, although John Kaufman has like a terrible. I was like his conference tournament performance has been really bad. I don't think they're terrible either. Yeah, this is going to be a game to game type thing for me. I have no official plays here. I feel like that's lame. I feel like I got to at least say take something, Kai. Um, but here I am in Detroit. Mercy worth mentioning. They've been sneaky, very impressive
Hot,
down
hot,
the
hot.
stretch. Yes,
Yeah.
very hot. They have a good mojo. A bunch of kids from Detroit, local like Motor City dudes. Orlando Lovejoy is like a mid range maestro. Um, so shall we continue?
Yeah.
Let's
Let's
talk the
do it.
Fun Belt, which is the stairway to seven, as it's been branded. This is the bracket of depth, and especially this season when you have such a league that was riddled with parity, and you got to look at Arkansas State, a very, very good 7 seed, has to win one, two, three, four, 5 games compared to Coastal, App State, 3, and then Troy, Marshall, 2. So let's run through kind of what the setup here. Troy ended up, after a little bit of a sluggish February, they ended up securing the 1 seed. Marshall gets the 2, so they get the bye to the semi. App State and Coastal are the 4-3 or 3-4, 4-3. They get the bye to the quarter. Then the next group is Texas State, South Alabama at 5-6, and then it's Southern Miss, Arkansas State. If you're below that point, I don't know how you can win this field. James Madison, Georgia
Yeah.
Southern, sorry, and then Louisiana, Georgia State, Old Dominion, Louisiana Monroe. Not only do you have no chance, but you're not any good. Like the top 10 teams, I think are at least like competent teams. But like at 8 through 10 there, I just like, man, I don't know what you're gonna do. Having to go Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday. Kai, thoughts on the bracket? Anything that jumps out of you? I have a couple of takes here on, I think, some situational edges that kind of popped last season.
Yeah, you have to go top four. The market has Arkansas State up there in the top four, I think, right now for odds, but it's because they're their best Pom team. But heck, 5 games in 5 days, I don't think you can take them. And Matt said it, it's a parity-ridden league. So it's top four. I don't see Coastal winning this league. I can't believe they got a top four seed. Shouts to Justin Gray. I think it's App State, Marshall, or Troy. I don't know the last time a top two seed has won this. I know Matt's probably going to say Richie Riley's had comments about getting buys to the semis before in this
Mm-hmm.
tournament. I am going to submit App State is my pick in this one. Dustin Kearns has a magic about him in this tournament.
Yeah, I think that would logically, Kai, I think that that one makes the most sense to me, given both draw and price combined. They're the best defense in the league, which matters a lot. The number one 2 point percentage defense, best defensive rebounding team. They are very stout inside and they're very comfortable in the half court. They had that magical, I think they won 5 games in 5 days, like a couple of years
Yeah.
back under Kearns.
Yeah, I
Uh,
think it did.
the one characteristic that that team had, though, was a lot of shot making guards. And this year's version of that, unfortunately, Kai, you kind of you hand wave them, but it's Coastal to me. I like their three-pronged guard attack with Beadle, Dantzler, and Jones. Those guys can all have like a 30-point game and explode. And they've at least got decent interior defense. Like Pete is an awesome interior shot blocker, rebounder. They've got, I guess McVicker's been hurt, but they've got two other 6'10 guys in the rotation that can kind of contribute in there. Their defense has been pretty good in the league, top five. Nobody in this league is all that good. Like, there's no like great net rating team. Troy is like +8 per 100 possessions per Ken Palm, and that's not that much of a standout. They're winning because of the draw, or their best odds that way. I'm going to take a flyer on Coastal, Matthew, 14-1. Give me the chance. I actually
I'm with you.
discussed this. I texted
Yep.
a little with Stuckey before this. So for any BBOC listeners that would love to hear his take on it, I initially said App State, and he kind of helped talk me into Coastal as well. So that's
Yeah,
where I'm
Coastal
going
is my
The
with
pick
best
too.
value on the board,
It's
Coastal.
no, it's my
Yeah.
pick too. I think they're in the perfect spot. Like I said last year, um, the 3 and 4 seeds both won, which would be App State, Coastal, and they both went on to knock off the 1-2 seed. And one of those spots, I mean, Richie Riley talked to in the summer. He's like playing on that Monday or that Sunday, like getting off till Saturday is one thing. Like that extra Sunday rest was just awkward. It just felt like it was almost a disservice of how long they got off, given where the when the league ended. So I think Coastal in that spot, and I think I'm with Jim. I know they're not like super ranked that highly analytically, but I think they have kind of that DNA that can play well in a tournament format where you can have the best player or shot maker on the floor too, with a pretty stout defense and a coach I like, good size. Um, and like Marshall doesn't scare me. Like I'd much rather play Coastal against Marshall than App State against Troy, who I do think is the best team, the coach I like the most. So just that draw, and then Marshall's defense has been really shaky ever since Matthew Von Goon, as I call him, went out. They've been really, they couldn't get not got any stops. So I think Coastal's a great, not only just the value in the spot. It feels like the pricing here maybe didn't fully encapsulate the spot in the bracket. I'm sure that's not the case, but um, I'm with
I'll
you,
add.
Jim.
Yeah, good.
That's my pick.
I was just filtering since they started like playing really well. They had a really slow start to conference play. Coastal did. They lost four of their first five. Then starting January 10th, when they beat App State at home, they are 12-3. Where'd my filter go? Sorry, 11-3, 10-3 in conference play. They had the one win in the MAC Sun Belt Challenge. They're 171st nationally, which is a lot better than their season-long Ken Palm rank if you throw out their non-con stuff. And they're roughly analytically equal to Arkansas State, South Alabama, Troy, who are all in the 160s. So like they're right on that level, playing at that level with those guards that I think can step up in a postseason type of arena. Yeah, I think it's worth the flyer, Matt. Here we go. Let's go, Chance.
Kai, you got anything here? I'm doing my little money line rollover calculator to just kind of compare for context what that could be. But any
Um,
takes?
Best value is Coastal. Yeah, just based on their spot in the bracket for sure. They have to go through either South Alabama or Arkansas State, so I don't love that. App State's side of the bracket, besides Troy, I think is a lot friendlier. But their odds are 5-1, and not really my bag, baby.
I can't believe that the Arkansas State odds. Like they're plus 850 at least at FanDuel, but at Caesars they're plus 585 to win
That's
5 games in
ridiculous.
5 days.
Not a
Yeah,
good
That's
bet.
absurd.
Not a good bet.
I got Coastal at around fair is like 11% on a rollover. It sucks because my favorite team in the league is South Alabama, and that's who they could play. Coastal probably gets South Alabama or Arkansas State, so that's kind of part of where we might be short sighted in our evaluation here. It might be too forward looking, not looking backward as to what's coming down the pike. I mean, it could be their toughest game could be that first game if they do actually go all the way here, but that's a small play for me. I do think again a lot of these numbers are a little bit you don't get great value here. That's why the money line rollover kind of side by side comparison is worth doing for those of you nerds out there.
You
Um,
mentioned South Bama, Matt, home court advantage.
Yeah, they're like an hour away. Riley always talks about how he like loves playing there because they get a pretty good crowd. So I'm sure it's not worth anything more than like a fraction
Hmm.
of a decimal of a basis point, but we'll see.
Just noting.
Final takes on the Fun Belt. Anything that in the opening matchups, Louisiana versus Georgia State, Old Dominion versus Monroe. I think ODU, who got kind of hot last season, is certainly a team I thought would be way better. Kind of has like that. Maybe they just randomly play well. Could see them smacking both Monroe and Georgia Southern to get to Arkansas State. Maybe you'd ride them for a couple of games. That's my only other
They'll
gut
smack
inclination.
Monroe. Yeah.
They will.
What
Monroe's
do you,
terrible.
what do you guys think Monroe is against the spread this year?
Poor.
Yeah, they've actually a lot of close non-colors, but they've
Hey,
also just been
Monroe won at Old
horrible.
Dominion too.
They're 17 and 12 against the spread. I'm
That's
shocked by
shocking.
The
that team.
conference play, they
Bottom
kind of came
15.
back. Yeah.
Yeah. I
Wow.
mean, I guess they started so low because the roster was bleak and they had injuries early. Kai actually like that they won at Old Dominion. Like for ODU to be like,
Little
wow, we got
extra
embarrassed.
juice.
We're the only team to lose to them in the league. We gotta come out with our pants on fire.
Yeah.
All right, the Patriots. Sound very patriotic with not many great takes here, but this is fun because everything is on campus sites. 10 team, top six get a bye, bottom four got to do the play-in thing. So Bucknell and Army will duke it out on Tuesday to play Navy, who is unstoppable right now, and then Lafayette, Holy Cross will vie for the chance to play Lehigh, the number two seed. Kai, I like the Mountain Hawks on paper this year. BU American, the 4-5. Colgate, the darling of this league, but not this season. And then Loyola Maryland are the 3-6. I'm looking at maybe that Colgate Loyola Maryland spot as like the winner of that game. Could they sort of emerge in the final against Navy and maybe shock the world? Just because I love both, arguably my two favorite coaches in the league are Colgate, um, Loyola Maryland. But I don't know, Jim. Any other takes here? What am I missing in terms of matchups, value? But just quick, the Navy is, I mean, minus 165 to win is feels pretty crazy.
Minus
Colgate plus
120
550.
other places. Yeah. I've
Minus
seen
120
Okay.
at DraftKings.
yeah.
I,
Okay.
I I bet that. I was
You
surprised how
did.
much
Okay.
DraftKings let me get on it. I just Navy's been a complete juggernaut in this league. They very nearly have the best offense and the best defense. They have the best defense by 10 points per 100 possessions. Like they're not even close. Nobody's even remotely touching them. Best 2 point percentage defense, best 3 point percentage defense, best free throw rate allowed. It's so hard to score on them. Best block rate and best steal rate. This team had five starters come back from last year. They're very, very connected. They've got a star in Benini. I'm all the way in on them. In league play, Navy is 15-2-1 against the spread. Like
Yeah. I was just
it's
looking that
just
up.
been like auto, just hit the button every time the midshipmen play. Don't get cute and try to find the spot. I'm not going to get cute with a bet in this league. I'm not even really looking that hard at American or Colgate. Jalen Cox missed the last game, the finale against Navy, and they're like kind of useless without him. He is more or less the offense, him and Alexienko, the freshman. So I'm all Navy here, Matthew, especially with that. Like the price disparity for one book to have minus 200, another to have minus
Yep.
120 is crazy. And all these games are at home. So yeah, give me the middies.
Roll goats. Number one in minutes continuity. So yeah, they were supposed to be good. They were good, and they have it even better against more like my. They got crushed out of the gate by Yale, and I think I
But they're
just sort
they're
of
tiny. They're
yeah,
tiny.
except for
And
Big Aiden, the
yep,
kind of
Keho.
yeah, he's a
yep.
monster. Man, they're 135 in Kempa. I mean, they get in. They're probably like a 15. This is not like a play-in team.
14
If
could be. Yeah. It could be
14,
14.
15. So we'll see how seriously we take them.
I
Against
I
I don't
think
know.
I'll probably fade them. And I
You're
guess
right,
they
Jim.
hung with North Carolina with Vasar and Caleb
I
Wilson.
remember
They lost
watching
by
the game. They
12
look
that game.
competitive for sure. They look
Yeah.
like they could hang there as sort of a feisty dog. I know they kind of sag in and make you hit shots, which is probably smart as the like I said the 359th tallest team in America. That's basically it's a four guard and one in approach. Is what they
Yeah.
play, I
Starting at
think so.
6-11. They won the league by 6 games. Yeah. I'm taking Navy as well.
Yeah.
Any other
I,
matchups we like first round here? I kind of like Loyola here against Colgate.
if
You're a
Cox is
Lo-
out, yes.
you're a Loyola guy.
Yeah, I think Leffler's a really good coach. They've been banged up this year. They took Colgate to OT, I remember, and they lost to Colgate the first time by like 2 points. Like both games were super close. They're on the road, obviously. Colgate's been really good at home. Uh, but Loyola Maryland's like home road splits from what I track. Like they're one of the better road teams relatively in the country. They just have no home court value. So I think in terms of their road performance, you get like maybe a half point of value there. I like the
They're
Greyhounds. I think they get it done. That's going to
they're
be
kind
a
of they're kind of a
go ahead,
fun
Jim.
like talent level team too, because Teodosia was at Wyoming, Springer was at, okay, he was Air Force, but he was a Mountain West player, and Steamkey is like, I'm not gonna say he's an NBA athlete, but he can jump out of the gym. So like they've got kind of a fun blend of guys there, and they're still pretty young too. Like it's a
Yep.
lot of freshmen, sophomore, and a couple of juniors. I think it's a nice bet. I would definitely check Jalen Cox's status for Colgate, whether he's in or out come game time. If he's out, I think Greyhounds are it's a
Yeah,
nice bet there.
that one will move quickly. I got nothing else though, guys, for the Patriot. Nothing official for. It sounds like you guys are all over Navy for the tournament. I got nothing there.
Yep.
Yep.
Um, let's get to our picks. Jim, recap your slate last week, or do you want to? I decided, do I want to tee you up to recap last week if it went well? If not, we can just kind of ignore it. But I think it went well for
Went well
all of
for all
us.
of us. Well, yeah, I was the dud with a 4-3 week. Sorry for dragging you boys down.
It's okay.
Kai, you were
Um,
4-1. Man, that's
Yeah.
nice. 3-0, not
yeah.
bad. I'll take it. All right, Jim, go
Nice.
ahead. What's your recap? You're to pump your chest out and then remind the folks what they're betting / what you're betting.
Okay. Yeah, I won't go through the individual bets, but yeah, I was 4-3 last week. We've had a pretty solid year on this pod, guys. Well done. A little golf clap for us. TCU plus 12, probably would play it down to 8 because the Texas Tech lines have been so far off the Ken Pom market because of the Toppin absence. But they have been playing well. But I'll be on TCU there. UCLA plus 3, despite the travel disparity against Nebraska. Drexel plus 10, probably down to like 7 with that spot in the matchup against Hofstra, who's clinched. I am going to go Texas A&M -1 at home against Kentucky. I keep kind of hitting my head against the wall with Kentucky, but I shouldn't let last game affect my handicap of this one with that Vanderbilt loss that I took. So Aggies at home -1 off their loss to Texas, and Grand Canyon -18, continuing to fade Air Force with a team that is good off of a loss. Matthew, that's my group. Kai, over to you.
I'm taking Alabama against Georgia as a short road favorite. I'm taking Toledo against Miami of Ohio because I'm so brave. I'm a Scrooge. Drexel against Hofstra, great call by Matthew. And then TCU, I will take against Texas Tech on the road.
I was 3-0 last week, by the way. Nice shot, Matt. Drexel plus 8. I'm gonna keep it to my 3. Although this is technically a moving target in terms of my volume, so I'm gonna go Drexel plus 8 is kind of my strike there. Maybe plus 7 um, against Hofstra. Loyola, Maryland's. I just kind of said. I think plus 5 ish. Cox is worth probably 2, 3 at least. Maybe plus 4 is where I draw the line there. And then my coastal, I'm looking at my pricing. I think I'm gonna go with the money line rollover because I think the first game, if you're gonna get Arkansas State, I mean they'll be a dog in that game. So I'd rather just kind of start off with a plus money bet and then keep running it forward. Again, that 14-1 doesn't look as good compared to I think some of the money line options coming up the bracket there. So Coastal, Drexel, Loyola, and that's it for me. I think that's it for us, fellas. Good luck on the opening week conference tournament. Next week's going to be insanely busy as we get to the title games. Some of these mid majors, but also kick off the annoyingly large behemoth brackets and the power conferences that'll start basically Monday, Tuesday the following week. Make sure to check out Stucky's pod and then come back and join us next week as we get you
Yeah,
teed up for the early week stuff. And then we're going to go tomorrow and I think Tuesday, right, Jim, in terms of getting you guys prepped for all the rest of the mid major brackets this week.
Yep. I was just gonna say, keep an eye on the BBOC feed. There's gonna be a million episodes coming out. Matt and I are recording one with Stucky tomorrow, doing 5 new leagues. And we got a couple more. Stucky's doing midweek, I think, with maybe Greg Waddell and 1 or 2 others. The next Sunday, me and Kai are doing episodes with Stucky for that second week of conference tournaments, and I think Mike Calabrese and Duck will cover the final couple of leagues. So all 31 tournaments are going to be previewed on the BBOC feed. So make sure to check out
Lock
all
in,
those episodes.
subscribe. It's all there. Again, good luck. Handicap sharp. March is here. It's our Christmas. Thank you again, folks. And stand by for next week.